Four Knights of the Apocalypse, Chapter 124. We finally get to probably the most hyped fight in this arc, which is Lancelot versus NANASHI. And that's basically what this chapter is. It's basically all action, with some dialogue sprinkled here and there, particularly at the end, with Lancelot and NANASHI having a conversation as the two of them were having a relatively well choreographed fight. And I won't lie, so far, my favorite fight by far, just by sheer choreography alone. But before I get into this actual chapter, don't forget to like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. It really helps, and shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel. The Four Knights anime came up with its first episode, and I already reviewed it, so I'll leave a link above if you want to hear my thoughts on the first episode. Spoilers, it was pretty good, and I can't wait to keep talking about the anime as I talk about the manga. Now with all that out of the way, let's get right into the video. So chapter 124 of the Four Knights of the Apocalypse, titled Realm of a Master, as the cover image is literally just an all-black page with just this one singular image of Arthur, NANASHI, and Kath during the Holy War, back when things seemed to be very simple before we found out that Kath was a horror beast that wanted to eat Arthur and take the power of chaos at the end of Seven Deadly Sins. Chaos arc at the end of Seven Deadly Sins is still pretty freaking weird sometimes. Anyway, moving on to the chapter, Lancelot is getting ready to lunge in for a fight. Same with NANASHI, as he has his sword ready to launch an attack. He then launches his sword draw, Heartless Waterfall towards Lancelot. Lancelot manages to dodge out of the way, close the distance as that slash gouged a hole straight into the ground. Lancelot goes up to try and punch NANASHI, but NANASHI blocks it, grabs Lancelot's arm, and tries to throw him over the shoulder. But Lancelot stops himself on the ground, jumps up, and then hits NANASHI in the face multiple times, which NANASHI does block. But in that instance, Lancelot grabs NANASHI's katana and then brandishes it for himself. He then imbues it with magical power as he says, "Try to dodge this if you can," as he then unleashes Shining Road with NANASHI's katana, which NANASHI realizes he can't dodge that right now, and he has no choice but to hold out and take the brunt of the hit. He plants his feet and gets ready to take the hit head on, which surprises even Lancelot, as NANASHI is then hit with the full force of Shining Road, as he is clearly heavily damaged, and it landed incredibly close, which Lancelot notices, because NANASHI in that instance grabs Lancelot's wrist and takes back his sword. As he stands back up, facing Lancelot, trying to land an attack on Lancelot, which Lancelot easily dodges. As the two of them land facing each other, NANASHI stands completely unharmed save for some withered clothing. As even Lancelot says, "Man, from near death back to full health? The Goddess clan sure is a handful," as we see that the attacks that Lancelot dodged literally destroyed the rock standing behind him. NANASHI says, "How many millennia since I've had this cold rush down my back?" Showcasing that NANASHI is kind of nervous in fighting Lancelot, knowing that he is an incredibly powerful fighter. Lancelot then literally just calls him no name, since that's what NANASHI means, and asks him why he's even bothering with all this. NANASHI lunges forward towards Lancelot as he says, "To see for myself." He then unleashed the attack Lower Stance, Sleet of Kindness, which a bunch of slashes carve up the ground. Lancelot then begins to fire a whole lot of arrows, as he begins to say, "You never took center stage before, no? Not in the Holy War 16 years ago, nor the one 3,000 years ago," which is something that people have speculated about for NANASHI since the end of the Seven Deadly Sins, when it was revealed that he was in fact a member of the Goddess clan, but with his wings ripped off. So I feel like we're going to get a deep dive into NANASHI's backstory, if not a little bit within the next few chapters, to see what happened with him. NANASHI goes on to say, stating that, "I went into hiding when I served my previous master. The gods pitted us against each other in a pointless battle, and I lost hope." Obviously, in the Cursed by Light movie, we find out that the Holy War started between the Demon King and the Supreme Deity, was all kind of pointless and at the end. It was just a game to them. They want a never-ending battle and conflict between the two races that they birthed and governed, and got every other race, the giants, fairies, and humans, basically roped into it. Which, since he left and went into hiding, showcases that he realized that everything was pointless, as he says, and just didn't bother with the fight. Lancelot lunges a barrage of arrows at NANASHI, which NANASHI then begins to parry and block each one of them. As Lancelot begins to question them, isn't that what war usually is? Your current boss is just pursuing just as pointless a war, so why are you inviting yourself in despite that? Which is an interesting thing, because people have also been wondering why NANASHI, a member of the Goddess Clan, is helping Arthur now that he's basically wanting to eradicate everybody that's not human. As Lancelot brings up a good point, this could be seen, and it is kind of seen, as a relatively pointless war that Arthur is starting, because in reality, Arthur didn't really need to start up a war between the humans and everybody else, because after the Holy War, it is shown that a lot of other kingdoms in Britannia are relatively at peace, and we could see in a flashback things are relatively at peace, but there could obviously be resentment. Obviously, the humans are not going to be, so willing to work with or just let demons off or goddesses off easy with what happened with the Holy War that started 16 years ago. And so, we still need to learn more about what caused Arthur to change. And NANASHI was loyal to Arthur before Arthur changed. And with NANASHI stating what he's stating, it's obvious, while this does seem like a big pointless war, he did see something in Arthur and wants to see how things play out. NANASHI lunged another attack at Lancelot, stating, "Side stance, winter wind of truth," as it then hits Lancelot square on, as NANASHI reaffirms that he wants to see what's going to happen for himself. As we see, Lancelot was hit, but the thing that took the brunt of the blow was his trusted bow and arrow, as Lancelot laments that, "Great, I rather like this, as he then lands onto the ground, stating, "I don't know what you're looking to see, but if you want it that bad, I'll fight you for real, yeah?" With the final page of the chapter, Lancelot unleashing his magical power, shocking NANASHI, ending the chapter. So, Lancelot fans, it seems we are finally going to see Lancelot go all in a fight. The last time Lancelot unleashed his aura like that, it was in front of Arthur in the Leonis arc, which I believe at this point was almost a year ago, which is really crazy to think about, and I'm incredibly excited. Because look, last time when it came to Arthur fighting Lancelot, Arthur wasn't fighting all out, and when Lancelot unleashed his full power, Arthur ended up leaving because his knights came after him. Obviously, it got Arthur a little by surprise and nervous, but it's still not stated that he would have actually lost to Lancelot in full power. But still, it's crazy to think about, and Lancelot not trying is holding his own against NANASHI. NANASHI's not really having too much difficulty fighting Lancelot, who's not trying. It was just a shunning road that dealt damage to him, but because he can heal himself, that's not really that big of an issue. But now Lancelot stated flat out, "I'll fight you for real," which is something that we have all wanted to see ever since Lancelot was revealed. And learning that he is incredibly powerful. Lancelot going all in. And it is just crazy to think about Lancelot going all out in a fight. And I cannot wait to see the upcoming chapters. Now, how this fight will play out, I have no real clear idea, because, again, it's Lancelot, so it might end next chapter, but if we intersplice some flashbacks with NANASHI during the original Holy War and why he went into hiding, cut in with some more stuff with him and Arthur to showcase the change of Arthur slowly becoming into the cruel and kind of psychotic King of Chaos that he has become, and why he ended up becoming who he is. And having it be through the perspective of NANASHI, somebody who, when he met Arthur, saw potential in him as well as, found a friend in him. And we saw that with that cover image. It shows that these two are really close friends. And I honestly want to see what happens. Will NANASHI fight true power Lancelot to a standstill? Will he lose? Will NANASHI somehow come out on top? And how will Arthur react to NANASHI not being able to beat Lancelot or even losing to him, or how the outcome of all this ends up pertaining to the wider reaching story. Because we do have the portal to Camelot still open. Merciful's fight with Mortledge doesn't seem to be over just yet, and we still have to cut back to that. Rosebank is obviously the only Knight of Chaos around, as everybody else in teams, Percival and Tristan, are basically unconscious or unable to fight, with Tristan and Gawain literally tapped out of magic power and relatively can be kind of helpless along with the 6 Knights of Black. So really, it all comes down to Lancelot and obviously Percival at the end of the day to see what happens with the doorway to Camelot. Either way, I'm excited to see what happens next, and these next couple of chapters are going to be crazy good. I cannot wait to see more of Lancelot versus Nanashi and the conclusion of Percival versus Mortledge. There's a lot to go into and answer with this arc. There's still enough of the story to tell with these fights and post these fights and what'll happen afterwards. But yeah, that's basically the video. This is my shortest review ever because this chapter was all just plain action and well choreographed action, which ended up telling a story like all good action scenes should. And that's kind of why I kind of went full speculatory mode for the last 4 to 5 minutes of this video. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. It really helps, shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel. And I obviously cannot wait to see what happens next. I am also covering the anime for the time being, as I do want to see how this adaptation of this story we all love comes out in anime form with this new studio. And like I said at the beginning, first episode seems very good, and I have high hopes for the anime adaptation, and this current arc is gearing up to be the best in the manga right now. But let me know all your thoughts down in the comment section down below. And with all that said and done, I hope you all have an awesome day.